Hi, you've tuned into Sacred Erotic Poetry, Sacred Sexuality and Ascension with Gila Nehemia. I'm so happy to be here. Today is July 1st. So it's the beginning of a new month. We've moved from the full moon. And before I even begin, and before I even explain who I am, I will ask you to close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths with me at your own pace. Say an intention or prayer. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're calling in our light teams, God, Source, Universe, our angels, our guides, our ancestors, our spirit animals to assist us in this podcast episode of mastery, of learning the lessons, and truly to connect to our heart space, to our higher selves, to bring in any messages that need to be brought in at this time, to allow ourselves to truly step into our wholeness and continue to be on the sacred path of truth and self-discovery. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and so it is. So those of you that don't know me, I'm Gila Nehemia. I am a sacred erotic self-love coach. I am also a writing empowerment coach and your spiritual heart guide and divine feminine healer. I have been mentoring primarily women, but everyone, all people who feel that they resonate with me, who have experienced chronic trauma and a lot of limiting beliefs that keep them from truly being their authentic selves, living from their heart space, and reclaiming their sexual power. My primary modality is writing and poetry, as well as yoga and meditation, and just being in nature. I really connect to the shamanic practices. So today's podcast episode is about learning the lessons, stepping into mastery, and really, stepping into the foundations of the new earth. And actually, I'm going to be quoting Rumi, so I'll just quote Rumi right now. I found this beautiful quote. He says, "The lion who breaks the enemy's ranks is a minor hero compared to the lion who overcomes himself." Rumi. Now, I feel that a lot of what I've been talking about is how do we overcome ourselves? How do we overcome our limiting beliefs? How do we learn our lessons? And truly, sometimes it could be very stretchy, and I feel like this is that time energetically. This is also that time we've moved from this full moon energy of releasing, and we are moving into the new moon next week. And the energy right now is that kind of like we're in between, we're like stepping into the new world. We're stepping into the fifth paradigm. Some of us are, wherever you are in your timeline, you're stepping into something new, and it feels a little bit uncomfortable. And you might still have some, we all have some healing, continual healing to do and lessons to be learned. And that doesn't mean to say that you can't do anything. Of course you can. You can step into a new venture or a new relationship, or whatever that is for you, a new job. And always remember that there is no sense of full perfection. We're always growing and changing. And really stepping into mastery, like stepping into things that we've learned and realizing that we can overcome any challenge. I felt like this particular podcast is going to be a lot about questions. I was thinking today, really about the word judgment. When we're learning a lesson, sometimes we might feel like we're judging ourselves. We might feel like we're overcoming judgment. Honestly, that's where I am right now, like overcoming judgment. Like, how do I stay in a space of true equality, like really accepting another person, accepting myself, forgiving any kind of mental chatter that is quote unquote berating myself, and allowing myself to truly be authentically and accepting another in their authenticity, like full acceptance. And also full acceptance about disagreement. Sometimes we don't agree, and even the deeper lesson I feel personally is to like let go, really let go of feeling like I need to be okay with everybody. I think to just really be in a space of like, okay, some people really just are not, I'm not going to see eye to eye with them. I never will. Though there could be a space of compromise, and there could be a space of just distance, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to truly be in that space of, okay, we don't agree. There's no hatred, there's no dislike, it just is. We're coming back into that now moment, into that space of alignment. Like, that just is. You exist, I exist. Love is there because we recognize our existence, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to break bread together, and that's okay. And really just being also in full acceptance of who I am in my wholeness, and mastering any emotions or any anger that's coming up, to allowing that space of alignment to even come into that space of alignment, to receive that space of alignment. Because sometimes we are, so many thoughts are coming into our minds, and so many emotions, that it's hard to see the space between the trees. I am going to share a poem that I wrote yesterday with you, because it's exactly what was happening to me. So I feel like it's actually more important to share a poem that is current. And I will also share a previous poem with you later on. So this is called Lifting the Veil. Gazing at the open green landscape, strong winds whooshing through the trees, pink hues in the sky as the blue Sea of Galilee calms me. Craggy mountains dotted with variegated trees, standing tall, unabashed, rooted in Mother Gaia's warm, fertile soil, beckoning me to let go of the inner judgment. Walking aimlessly, my gait full of defiance. Adrenaline pumping as I surrender my outrage and wrath to the igneous rocks. Breathing deeply to oxygenate my lungs and infuse them with mercy. Liberating myself as my shoulders expand. Melting, my body relaxes into the etheric space of acceptance. Angels casting a shield of peace and tenderness, cradling my fragile heart. Pastels turn into midnight blue with the glimmering stars overhead, escorting me to an equal space of alignment. Moving into that 0 point field. And sometimes moving into that 0 point field from a space of disagreement or whatever emotion that you might be experiencing, anger, wrath, I even say in this case, can be challenging. And sometimes physically moving, which is what I was doing yesterday. I was just like, I walked for like 2 hours with my dog or something, stopping along the way, looking at the scenery, was really important for me to get out of my space. I was writing in nature, but it wasn't enough. I needed to just like let go of the pent up energy, and allow my legs to move me. And sometimes that's what we need. I actually had been thinking about Jesus, and I can't quote scripture. I don't know the New Testament. I do know the Old Testament, studied it for a few years. I have come from a Vedic tradition, so it wasn't my upbringing. Though what I do really feel into, I really do adhere to Christ consciousness, this consciousness of like a true loving, a brotherhood, or a sisterhood, or a peoplehood, I would like to say, humanity. Don't know what the right word is, but, a true love of other beings. And really, really understanding that sometimes we do feel like we are kind of, what's the word? We're ostracized, or we're not accepted, and then, the bigger question is, are we accepting ourselves? Are we standing in our own truth? Like from previous podcasts that I've stated, or I've shared with you, like, are we really stepping into our own 10 commandments? What are they? So, just a lot of questions. Are you really, living by your own values and honoring yourself at all times and respecting others, working and cooperating, yet always being true to your true and authentic self? Because I feel like that's where we get into learning the lessons and mastery, when we're really just seeing things for what they are, living in our own, living in our own values, doing what we feel it needs to be done, and allowing ourselves to be in the moment, recognizing everything for what it is, and coming back into that space of alignment, into that space of like, I am whole, I am okay, I am accepting of what is, and knowing that I am living and breathing in the truth of myself, the truth of my own love. And coming into that space of true forgiveness, and allowing our angels, our friends, our guides, our ancestors to give us the messages to connect to that higher self. Because sometimes when we're in that space of disarray, of strong emotion, it's hard to connect into the higher self. It's hard to meditate. So that's why I go out to nature. I just go out, because going out in and of itself helps me to move energy. And then, looking at the Sea of Galilee yesterday connected me to, to more into the Christ consciousness energy, and really seeing like, whoa, what happened there to, Jesus' life was very symbolic for what we're going through. We're moving into the, some of us maybe are already in this, this resurrection, this true opening of letting go of judgment, allowing, trusting God completely, learning the lessons, being in mastery, and just allowing it to unfold, and being in that truth of conviction. And that's what I feel very strongly today. The truth of conviction, of like, this is what I uphold to be true. Honestly, today I was thinking about all sorts of outrageous things that are going on in the world. And I'm using the word outrageous because it's like, I don't like to read the news, but I know that human trafficking goes on. I know that people are being abused every day, and I don't like it. And that's why I'm here every day, every week. That's why I do what I do, because one, I've experienced it and it's not pleasant. And yes, I can say my soul needed to experience that, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I can understand that from a higher perspective, but as a responsible person or heart or love, I feel that the more that I can share what has happened to me and my own divine intuitive knowledge, or power, or whatever you want to call it, sensitivity, psychic powers, I feel that when we can share and talk about things, really communicate from our heart, from our throat chakra, from our sacral chakras, from our 12 chakra system, we begin to open a communication where we're no longer living in this fear paradigm, where we're no longer living in this power struggle, you know, of higher versus lower, passivity versus superiority, or, you know, any of those contrasts, but we're actually stepping into a deeper sense of the full luminous colors, you know, of equality. And we can't step into equality if we don't have the conversation. You know, it's about disrupting the pattern, one, within our own lives, and then disrupting the pattern outside of us. So I feel like that's actually where we are. That's the energy at the moment, not just for me, but I'm hearing from the collective, from actual people, and then, you know, also what my, you know, my clients are saying, that there is this, sometimes there's a disconnect with actual, you know, with people outside of our purviews, outside of our inner circles, and sometimes in our inner circles, of like, whoa, you know, like, what's going on? You know, we're not on the same page, and maybe we never will be. Sometimes it's just we're not on the same page right now, but, you know, we're moving into that because we're aligning more to ourselves. So wherever you are with whoever you're with, but it's not just about your, you know, your inner circle and your close love connections. It's also a reflection of the macrocosm of the world around us, that not everyone is with us, and that's okay, you know, but to be focused on your path, and to allow that path to unfold however it needs to be, and really moving from within, you know, the kingdom of heaven is within, and the way that we realize that is to always go within, to connect to that higher self, you know, that is a part of us, and to begin to even align to that higher self. You know, that I feel is actually the resurrection. It's alignment to the higher self. You know, for Jesus it was actual death and the soul, but for us as living beings experiencing this on a conscious level, I feel like it is about that connection and really alignment to the higher self, that we then become the higher selves in our physical existence, you know, and we can step in and out of that. But it's that stepping in. I feel like this is a new earth, right? You know, I'm just kind of, as I'm saying this, I was like, oh wow, that is a realization, you know, right? This is a new earth by really stepping into the truth of the higher self and embodying it. You know, this is about learning the lessons. This is about mastery. Mastery is, you know, being at one with the higher self, because we know we can come to that place in meditation. We know we can come to that place in a variety of techniques that we do, whether it's sitting out in nature or writing or being in the flow. And how do we master that so that that can become embodied into our daily life, more and more? It's a gradual process, and that becomes a heaven on earth, because we actually realize on a soul, on a heart, on you know, a body wisdom level, that this is where we're going. This is what is happening. This is the true love that we're seeking, the connection to the higher self. And the more that we connect to the higher self, and the more that we are become aligned to that higher self, that place of the now moment where nothing else exists, time, it is timeless, then we are in that space of, okay, we don't have to disconnect from others. We can be in our daily existence and still appreciate ourselves and appreciate the other, and realize that we are in this state of full forgiveness. We are in the state where we are accepting our divine powers and allowing, you know, our full whole self to step into whatever is next in mastery. And it's a continual mastery, and I'm not saying, okay, now we're the expert and we're done. No, it's still an ongoing process, but we are, you know, we're moving, you know, it may not yet be a full body movement. It's still this, you know, gradual process of stepping into it, but it's a continual step forward. You know, like, it's a full body yes, like, yes, I want to, and then it's the path, and walking that path of the full body yes. I want to be in alignment to my higher self. I want to be in full mastery and learn the lessons. You know, like, whatever is happening to you right now, ask yourself, what's the lesson I need to learn? are a number of questions. How can I align deeper to my higher self? Or whatever question that you feel like you need to know at this time, allow yourself to ask it. Ask your angels, ask your guides, ask your higher self, ask your ancestors, ask Jesus, ask God, ask whomever you want to ask. And it doesn't have to be a person, because I think that we're used to, or at least I'm used to, talking to people about it and expressing it, and hearing their opinion and then making my own decision. And so now, yesterday, instead of going that route, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to connect to, I'm just going to allow my body to lead me where it needs to go, because that's always been my method of, my modality of healing. Use my body first and foremost. I did write, but the next course of action was move the body. So, I moved the body, and as I moved the body and I allowed, the energy to subside that was distressing me, and moving into the new energy was like, okay, what is the mode of alignment? How do I get back to the alignment? That was actually my question. How do I get back into alignment? I want to be back into alignment. I don't want little things or other people's thoughts to make me go nuts, make me lose my center. And sometimes it's easier than others. And sometimes it's also a lesson that needs to be learned, so like all of those things kind of came together for me. And I was like, okay, it's all these different pieces that I need to put together to really feel into, what am I doing? How am I showing up for myself in my fullness? Where am I not actually seeing everything? How can I see more of the truth? So it's kind of like, the more that we decide to step in to the fullness of who we are, and we receive all of our gifts, and we allow ourselves to begin to say, yes, I want to be living in the new earth. I want to be in the fifth paradigm, fifth dimensional consciousness. I want to be more aware and conscious and in alignment with myself. That's when it begins. It's that acceptance, it's that desire, it's that commitment, and just allow yourself to walk forward and understand that you are a master of your own thoughts. It's a decision that you make, which is why that Rumi quote, it's the lion who breaks the enemy's ranks is a minor hero compared to the lion who overcomes himself. How can we overcome ourselves, our own thoughts, our own emotions that, take us into a spiral sometimes? And it's totally possible. And you don't have to be this whatever, this is unattainable being, because that is you. You are the divine being. You are reaping the fruits right now. You have done the work. You are stepping into more of who you truly are, and allowing anything like, judgment, shame, these are the things that I've been battling for many years of my life. And really seeing, okay, how am I judging myself? What is it that I'm doing? How is this situation a reflection of something deeper that I need to know? And also realizing that the truth within, the truth always sets you free, right? So being really honest with yourself, really confronting yourself, and celebrating your wins, and understanding that this is still a journey, and that you can still live an amazing life, and that there is no perfection. There is no, when I have X, I'm going to have Y. There just is. I'm already living in happiness. I'm already living in, in as much alignment as I can. I'm continuing to strive for greater alignment. And I'm totally grateful for the path that I'm walking on. I feel like that's learning the lessons. That's stepping into mastery, by allowing ourselves to be compassionate and loving and accepting and forgiving with ourselves, with our past, with where we're going, and knowing that as we're stepping forward into our own missions, you know, it just is. It's like that's what we're called to do, and we are doing it in full, in full consciousness, in full awareness, in full with the full blessings of God. Like I, it really, I really think about some, some challenges I've seen in my own life, and and in others, and just the depth of emotion that goes into trying to just survive, just make it through the day, make it through the day where you're not hit, make it through the day where you can eat a meal. And that's where some people are right now, and I was there too, and I get that. And if we're at a different place, how can we be there for people that are needing our assistance? How can we be there? How can we hold space? How can we empathize and commit ourselves to, a new way of being? A client the other day just shared with me a couple days ago how grateful she was for our session, because it really like changed her perspective on something that she had been dealing with for a very long time, like 15 years. She couldn't let go of something, and in that session she just released a lot and was able to see things in a new perspective. Wow, that was like such a tremendous moment of joy for me, of this, like, yes, like this is what it means, this is what it's all for. For these moments of true connection, true love of each other, as we are moving through challenges, and acceptance, and no questions, no judgment, no shame, nothing, just like an equal space, an equal sacred space that's safe. And that's worth millions, really. Money can't even quantify that. That space of deep, deep love is what I strive for every moment of my life, for myself, for others, and not just human beings, like all beings. I'm talking now to my plants. I'm being more cognizant of their needs, and how can I help? And really coming from this true space of mercy, like chesed in, I don't know, I just remember that word is in Hebrew is like kindness, like it's this true space of real deep, deep compassion for myself and others, and all beings. And it's like, because I feel like we're moving into the space of mastery as we're stepping into the new earth, into the fifth dimensional paradigm. And the question I wanted to ask you, and continue for you to ask yourself, is how can I step more into the fullness of who I am? How can I, connect and be more aligned to my higher self and my gifts, so I can share them with myself, my loved connections, and the world at large? I wanted to read another poem. This was written some time ago, from my book, Surreal Love, Kundalini Awakening Poetry. It's entitled Growing Pains. Crying, releasing my sadness and pain. Every time I release, there is more to uncover. Will it stop? Feels like I'm turning a corner, looking deeper into the darkness within. My light has dimmed as the other takes over, looking to heal the shame and guilt. All that exists is love. These other emotions were constructed by us to keep us in a cage, stifled, feeling my way through to release all the bars, exposing myself no matter what the consequences. The only cage is my mind. Freedom is what you give yourself. I used to feel trapped by other people. I realized it was I that built the trap. Only I have the key to open the door, to remove the dusty cloaks and old habits, moving forward to a new me. It is black, swimming through the deep ocean waters. Returning is not an option. that was entitled Growing Pains. And you can grab my poetry book on Amazon or any other online book retailer, or purchase the paperback. And yeah, I feel like this is what some of us are going through. You know, sometimes it's actual emotion being let out, or, you know, just allowing ourselves to walk forward, know that love is the only answer. And also this, you know, these cages that we trapped ourselves in, this paradigm, this like unconscious autopilot acceptance of this is the way it needs to be, you know, this hierarchy. Well, that's not the truth. We don't have to live in a patriarchal society anymore. It's our conscious decision to opt out. And I feel like that's an important, you know, thing to say. You can opt out of the mind control by not listening to the news, by not like listening to other people and their views of what is and what isn't. You get to decide. You get to validate yourself. You get to decide if you're the master or not. You get to decide if you have learned the lesson. You, meaning your higher self, your God, your divinity within. You know, you not meaning the ego, but you meaning the heart, the love that's within you. You get to decide what's right. You know, you get to decide your 10 commandments, your values, and you get to live by them. There's nobody else to tell you who or what is the truth. You are the wise one. You do have all the answers within you. Look inside, 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 inside. I'm moving my hands and closing my eyes. And let's breathe into that inside for a moment. Another deep belly breath. Show me what is inside. And the more that you ask, you will receive. Ask and you will receive. Abraham Hicks always says that. Ask and you will receive. And it's true. So letting go of all of those structures that have held us back, and stepping into mastery and learning our lessons, and knowing that we can create heaven on earth just because we can, because we are conscious human beings, because we are moving into resurrection of the truth of what really can happen on this planet as a collective. So with that, I will invite you to take 3 more deep breaths with me as you just dream into what it means for you to truly be in alignment with your higher self in this beautiful world of new beginnings and fertile soil and wholeness and sovereignty and liberation. So I'm inviting you to take 3 deep belly breaths. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this beautiful message. Thank you, our light teams, our angels, our guides, God, Source, Universe, our spirit animals, our ancestors. Thank you for allowing us to be alive at this very moment in history, in this present moment, in this now moment. Thank you for allowing us to step into alignment in whatever timeline that we are on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste, Om Shanti, Shalom, Aho, and so it is. Have a beautiful, beautiful day and a wonderful, wonderful moment. Love you so much. Blessings, peace, deep, deep alignment. Aho.